Hi, I'm Ali Perry.
And I am Kimberly Giffen, and we actually kind of came up with a fun idea that we want to ask you questions. So most of these can just kind of be show of hands.
You have the list.
All right. So my first question: who sorts their pieces by weight? What?
Wait,
Wait,
it was more than that. So
who-
so the question is
well, I want to know who sorts them by
Well-
weight.
color, part, or weight.
Color, part, or weight. Can we see who is team? I
Team-
sort by color primarily. Come on. Who among here is strictly by part? Huh. Okay, and how many of us all fall into the depends on the part? I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is like me, who started by color, then scratch that, went to part, and then scratch that, went back to color. Thank you. Thank you. You are my people.
All right, so we're going to have some fun just doing a bit of questions for you guys. And then we want to hear your questions. And then we want to hear anybody besides us who also wants to answer those questions, because we want to make it more of it's more of a discussion than a strict presentation of this is how I sort. And everybody should have a creature feature bin that they just throw all their creature parts into. Because some of them like to have creature feature trays with all those parts actually organized. So
Can you read my writing?
one of the fun questions is, what do you do with Flego, when you're sorting?
Flego.
Fake
Fake
Lego.
Lego.
Anybody?
But
Just throw it in the trash.
Okay.
First answer was
Lori
throw it
says
in the
throw
trash.
it in the trash, but Deneen.
And I'm sorry, folks, this is going to maybe stink. We're going to have to figure out a better way to do this because we are talking into the mics, not for each other in the room, where we're doing
We
it for
have the
online
Zoom,
folks. So
why don't you
yeah,
guys raise your hand, and when this
Yep.
gentleman here comes around with the mic,
I'll be
we
moving
can
as
throw
quick as I
out an
can.
answer.
So,
Okay.
I'll just have you repeat yours online, and then maybe sometimes if it's something super short and I hear you shout it out, I'll just yell it into the mic, and that way the folks online can hear it, and that might keep things moving because I don't want to be interrupting the flow too much.
Right.
So I'll do some of that. But if you have a more substantive comment, especially, I will definitely run over to you with the mic.
But we also, there's a question in the back, but we learned in the Mills talk using Flego in the base because as filler, because nobody sees it. And it's trash, so it belongs in the ground, which I thought was excellent, a really good point.
I donate it to a preschool in Rwanda. I ship it that direction because they don't care what brand it is.
Wow.
That's awesome, and you're a better person than me.
And
That
there's a
is
question
cool.
in the back.
I'm up here, so I'm sorry. I'm going to grab her because I'm already here.
I have a local buy nothing group, and I will post it to there. And if not, the low-income families I work with a lot of times will just randomly get donations of non-Lego.
Yeah, these are good ideas because, if you bury it, even in a Mills module, you still know it's there.
So I put it in a separate bin, and that's where it stays, because sometimes I'm wrong. Like the first time I saw a mini doll, I had no idea it was actual Lego.
Good point.
All right, moving on. We want to know what your favorite sorting tool is. For me, one of the first sorting roundtables I went to was someone introduced me to those bright yellow funnel trays from Harbor Freight, and that I bought 4 of them. They were $1.50 each. It was well worth the investment. But other than yellow pieces, they work fabulous for sorting. How about you, Ali?
I don't know what that is. I just sit and sort.
James, you're
Team
getting shamed
table.
right now.
I
Yeah.
don't even, my kids just look at me and run away. They don't help. I just do it all by myself, piece by piece.
Who all here has a favorite sorting tool that we should know about?
Okay, as I'm walking back there, I'm going to try a new thing. I'm going to also read some of the online comments as I go here. Some folks online talking about using for filler, donating Flago to less fortunate as well. People sorting using muffin tins as a favorite tactic.
Oh,
Kids,
muffin tins.
because they enjoy helping to sort at no cost beyond food, water, and shelter. So I don't know if that's true. I don't have any of my own, so I can't verify. But okay, here we go.
Yeah, I don't have kids, so I hire local child labor.
How much do you pay? How much bricks per minute?
Usually I give them like a minifigure or a poly bag or something like that after a couple
Okay.
hours.
Per hour? One $5 poly bag per hour?
Yeah, they're stealing
That's-
Lego from you, and you don't know it. They're pocketing Lego because that's the only way for it to be profitable for them, I'm sure. Mhm. Okay. All right. Another online comment. Beth says plastic takeout containers. Those are I use those as well. Those are
Ooh.
great.
I've recently seen those yellow sorting trays, and they're really great, but I haven't gotten that far yet. I used the cardboard tray that came with several of my kits, and then just recently I found a use for the flyers that come in your mail, Vote for Me. If you bend them in half, they make a great, like, pick it up and funnel it into a zip.
Yeah, that's good. I was about to add one, but it got added for me by Maraid. The advent calendar inserts. Those are great for like short term, but it's tough digging parts out of them. I'll tell you that.
Yes.
I can add another one as well. I got some of the thin Stanley toolboxes with the cups that actually come out so you can pick them up and dump them. They are fabulous for having a tray of sorting and then being able to take just that cup and then dump it into a bigger container. And I bring them to drafts. Then I don't have to sort afterwards.
The pick-a-brick cups work well, but until they discontinue the pick-a-brick cups, I will use those. But
I also use well-washed butter tubs and ice cream tubs for like large area sorting, but then my kids like seaweed snacks in the little nori rectangular containers. I have a stack taller than me of those containers, and they're great for putting little parts in.
ooh, that's
Is it
nice.
taller than me or just taller than you?
Behind
Wow. Well
you.
done.
Behind you.
Got one over here.
I have two different things. I will actually cut apart the advent calendar inserts, and so that they are smaller and so easier to access. And those actually work great inside like Sterlite drawers for smaller pieces.
Ooh.
And the other thing that I do, I actually have one with me, is that I make little origami boxes just out of scrap paper. Like this is a 6x6 piece of paper that's just in a square. And they're great and they're portable, and if I destroy them, I recycle them. My favorite size for making a little paper box, it depends on my needs, but this is a really small one, and this was originally a 6x6 inch piece of paper, but you can get one that is much larger, and the perfect depth is actually from a standard 12 by 12 inch piece of paper that you can buy in bulk for pretty cheap at craft stores.
Very nice.
I like these things from Target. They're like 3 for $2, and they're these. They're bins about, I guess, 3 inches by 4 inches or so, and they're rectangular, like rounded rectangular, really easy to scoop out of, and so you can just put a whole array of those. And usually I use like freezer tape labels on the bins, for all my different categories. Yeah, it works really great.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm right here, so.
I basically, at the dollar store, there were the thin plastic cutting the thin plastic cutting board things. They come in different colors, which helps because I did the yellow and what I was doing had lots of yellow, and I thought, well, this. Anyway, and then they also have, I sort by color, but I have a thing that if it's one piece are smaller, it goes in the color in a little. They have the little clear boxes with lids, so I can always see what I have in that color. But they're really handy, and they can go in any drawer. And so, but the dollar store has some really good little stuff that you can get, and I like the see-through, so I don't have to. I can just see the number, see the color.
Yeah, definitely. A couple more online as I'm walking. We got egg cartons, baby food jars, plastic tubs.
Yeah, meal prep containers. You can get them in 10 or 20 packs. They typically have a big side and then a couple of small compartments. So if you're sorting stuff, put the small parts in the small containers. They have lids that keep everything separate. And usually the edges of them are rounded, so it makes them easy to scoop the parts out of.
Yeah, that's a big key, the rounded corners.
Also, a good thing from the Dollar Tree are those large chips and dip platter trays. I use those.
And those are see-through, which is also nice. Okay, I'm going to go to the middle here.
We do a lot of sorting, so we have the IKEA that comes in different shapes and rectangulars. So we have like 20 of those.
Nice. Okay, right here, since I'm here.
So I've 3D printed my own stack and nest trays that just fit all my needs, so they can nest in nicely for when you're not sorting. And then stack together so I can actually have a wall of stuff that I can put the little slots in there.
And that's a great comment because I really think 3D printing has changed some of the ways we do sorting and storage. I have the IKEA Trofast bins at home, and my husband has been slowly 3D printing bins to go inside my bins that fit those weird rounded corners. And so that is another, opens a whole door to having a sorting tool that is completely custom to your need.
So y'all are pretty fancy. I mean, I have really nice storage as well, but for intermediate sorting, get some Ziploc bags. And the trick, roll the top down one layer. If you roll it down, it ends up pushing itself open instead of trying to close itself.
Yes.
And you could just start chucking pieces in. And that's a really, really, really cheap solution. And you can squeeze the air
Especially
out.
when Costco has them on coupon.
Should have made you use one of their mics.
So I don't have it, but I really like the idea of the tool. Has anyone seen that TikTok where it's like a wooden box and it's got 4 separate sections with holes, and you just shake it and the smaller pieces slide down to the bottom? I want that. Where can I get it here?
So this is actually a similar product to something that came out called the Brick Box a number of years ago, and it was things. And I found that it's kind of one of those things too that are debatable. Some people really love them, and some people are like, it. If you shake it just right, parts that aren't supposed to get through. And so there's a lot of opinions on whether the shake type sorters actually help or hinder you, which would have been one of my other questions. So.
Oh.
Yeah, there were a lot of complaints about those 20 years ago when they came out.
It's an investment,
Yeah,
and,
there's no
and
doubt
that
about it.
investment is
Uh-oh.
Lego
We gotta laugh.
sets you could buy for that money.
The
in my opinion.
funnel trays are no longer available at Harbor Freight, but you can buy them at
Oh.
Rockler for $2.99. Rockler Woodworking.
Okay, back over here. Oh boy, do we do some more comments? I hope to one day have my bricks all sorted and stored inside the skulls of my enemies. That's normal, right?
I just wanted to say that that sorting device you talked about that had holes in it that were custom for some size, that sounds like something you would brick build. And then if you didn't like the way it worked, you just try a different shape in your hole.
Yeah, true enough.
One thing I've found after I've sorted everything is for small pieces, if anyone likes Martinelli's apple juice, comes in a glass apple container. And so I just have washed those out really well, and they look nice. They can go on a shelf, and it looks like a apple full of Legos.
So I have a 24 drawer acromill, and then each one is labeled with a different type of part. And once they fill up, then I just transfer it to another bin. But it's all condensed. It's right there, and I don't have to like reach or bend over too far.
Okay.
So along the same line of the acromills, my my acromills are on my wall on a cleat system. So I can just take them and I can pull them off the wall and take them and sit them in my living room or wherever I'm doing the sorting and have one case of the drawers right there. And it has been really, it can be really helpful if I'm sorting out Technic to do the Technic, to just take the whole Technic bin off of the wall instead of having the separate, I'm sorting it into these containers and then pouring it into these containers. Wow. All right. With that, I kind of want to move on to another question.
You have the list.
I have the list. Let's start talking methodology. I would love to know, like, what is your base sort like? What is your secondary sort? How do you get started if you just picked up a 20-gallon bin of completely unsorted Lego? Where's your starting point? And I'm going to let Ali answer this question first.
Well,
Where's your starting
there's-
point?
Are you a dumper? Just, I can't remember my notes. I'm lost now.
Okay. So if I get random Lego, I kind of start with,
I sit on the floor. I don't have any technology, even rudimentary. It's just me, the TV on some show that I need to binge watch for a season, and I just pick and I just start and I pick one part or one color, and now I'm on colors. So I'm just sitting there and I'm picking colors out of this big bin. And if I see something, it's Lego or it's gross, it goes into a bag to deal with it later. And I just plow through that bin, and I have bins of this. So that is daunting. So I haven't done it in a very long time, and I'm embarrassed. But I'm sure other people have much easier ways of dealing with it.
And I know I typically will look through it and I will start by pulling out specialty pieces. If I will start by pulling out minifigures and setting them aside, or minifigure
foliage
parts or foliage parts, throw tires in a bin. Larger plates, anything larger than a 4x8 is probably going to be pulled from the initial sort. So I kind of go with size because that makes the biggest dent first.
Or like bricks. I mean,
Yeah,
could
or like the
pull
big
out
basic bricks.
Yeah, the 2x6 of the 2x.
All right, let's take some answers from the audience.
Yep,
Do we
and-
have any online first, or?
Online is still kind of collecting on this one.
Okay.
So one person mentioned that they use a big rolling chest of drawers, a rolling cart of drawers, and that way they have it with them right in front of where they start, and they just start sorting immediately with a real sort right into that. I definitely agree with you, Kimberly. You get the big pieces out first.
Mhm.
They draw the eye. They take up space. They're in your way. What I'm going to do this time, so I'm not just running around the room and wasting time, I'm going to try to like start here and work my way across. So I apologize if your hand has been up longer than others, but I think it's going to be the most efficient way. Kind of like sorting. It's the most efficient way to sort you people.
So I usually start just by part, like plates, bricks, slopes, so forth. Get the trash, get the Flago out, then wash each of those one at a time, and then further sort down from there.
Okay, I saw some other hands in this section. Oh man, I already screwed up my own plan. We're walking the wrong way already.
So in general, you pull out the parts that are easy to identify, and have as many trays as you can fit in your area, so that you have a place to put something different. And if you have so much that you can't have enough trays, then you can kind of say, well, maybe I'll do the colors, or maybe I'll do all the beams in one bin, and then later split up the beams. Something like
Yeah, definitely a good method. Sorry, I'm just going to do this for expediency's sake.
So one additional one I do is any transparent parts, pull those out as early as possible so you don't add more scratches to them that they might already have.
That's a nice one. Did everyone hear that? The transparent parts, we're pulling them out so they don't get scratched further by the sorting process. Okay.
I have a 4 to 5 step process. First, I sort by categories: bricks, plates, Technic, wheels, minifigs, and accessories. And then I do the brick cube stuff on like the plates to get 4 different tiers of that. So I've got the big ones, the mediums, and the smalls. And then I will, in my 100 little sort things, sort all those, and those will go in bags. And then with that, I'll have the weird size bricks, and then those will get sorted as the 4th layer of sortation, which takes forever.
New word, sortation.
For me, wash is always the first step before I do anything. That way I only feel like my hands are filthy once. It takes them about 3 days to dry. So during the time that they're drying, I'm spreading them out thin, moving them around, draining them out, and then that's the primary sort time. It's a lot easier at the end because you already have them in bins when they're dry.
That was one of the questions.
I agree with washing. I have the luxury of having a pool table that is not used all that often these days. So I will set up as many individual bins as I can. Got a lot of them from the dollar store. You can get 3 packs, for $1, varying sizes. And then I try to do, get it each in its bin as I'm going along, because for efficiency's sake, you should only touch things once. I really tried to do that. I have run out of space on the pool table, so I do have to do a little combining and then a secondary sorting. But yeah, I do try to do it that way, so I don't have to keep touching them.
I'm a reseller, so it's slightly different from a builder perspective. I only do new Lego, so I'm not dealing with having to clean it. Yay me. We have 3 tables in a U shape, so the one person's sort of in the middle and can hit most things in a swivel chair. We do a category sort that's sort of my own, what works for me and in the volumes that we have. So we end up pulling slope, plate, and brick separately, kind of to get those out of the way off the top. Everything else goes into my category sort. We keep pulling everything out in bags until we have enough volume of each category to warrant the secondary sort, which is to sort by color and get it out into each individual item for sale. And then the third sort is to load it into the BrickLink store. And it's brutal. It takes us forever. I hired Candy a few weeks ago, and she doesn't know anything about Lego. Now she's an expert, but I mean, she's brand new to it. We live on an island with only 100 people, so my pool of employees is pretty small, but she stepped up and is learning and hearing things from you guys. This is excellent. Derek,
So I actually have a question about the washing things. So what I've been doing is putting it in the kitchen sink with the plug over the drain and like fretting it the whole time that that thing is going to move and like I'll lose a cheese slope or something like that. So I'm like using some dish soap and then spreading it out on an unused shower floor to dry for, again, several days. But I'm wondering if anyone has any hacks for making this a better process. Like, can I put a bunch of Lego in a cheesecloth bag and put it in the dishwasher, for instance? Like, is that feasible? Has anyone come up with some like clever hack like that?
It sounds like the answer is yes, based on all these hands going up. So here we go.
So I have like cheesecloth, or actually like on Amazon they come as like mesh lingerie bags, and so I put Lego into that. I put it in the dishwasher only at the top level, not at the bottom, so it stays a little bit cooler, and then run it through the dishwasher and gets it very clean.
Lori, is that what you do?
She was asking if we air dry it or heat dry it in the dishwasher. Air dry. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the same. I do double bag the lingerie bag because sometimes those little pieces can work their ways out. So I do double the lingerie bag, and yeah, works great. And then I spread it out on a towel on the tile floor and let it dry.
We have 2 bathtubs in our house. I use that one. I tape a screen over the drain, and that way I can swirl it around, and I make sure that I don't lose the little 1x1 clear piece.
The other thing I've used is the salad spinner. I just put the little in the salad spinner, and then I didn't have to worry about. But I'm the sink.
Harbor Freight, ultrasonic parts cleaner. I think it's designed for cleaning engine parts. You don't have to fill the whole thing with your cleaning fluids or your soapy water. You can just put a jar in, like if you only want to clean a few parts, you just put a little jar of your parts in a bigger water bath. And that way, if your spouse wants to clean some nasty engine parts, they're allowed to do the same thing. Just keep it in the jar. And then because I live in Washington, we have a dehumidifier in our bathroom to help after showers, and it actually makes this really great drying room. So if I wash them by hand or do the parts cleaner, we still have to dry it. So I'll spread it out in the bathroom, shut the door, turn the dehumidifier on to like max, and it's a few hours and we're all dry.
I've been trying to convince my husband that we need to get a heated bathroom floor, like the underlayment, for this purpose, and also warm feet.
Ooh, what a good idea.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, I think we had one more comment. You guys need to start talking again. I got to sit down.
I don't use the dishwasher. I use the washing machine. I do it on the delicate cycle and cold water, very little soap, and the spin actually gets a lot of the water off it, so I can lay it out on terry cloth towels.
You've never had a problem?
What?
You've never had a problem
No.
with scratching? And
No, and I've never lost stickers.
And front load? And
Yeah, front load machine, and when you lay it down on the towels, 1.5 to 3 hours at
Wow.
most. And I do what someone else was talking about. While it's drying, I'm spreading them out, and I'm going, oh, here's all the plates. Let me move the big plates over here. Let me put all the wheels over here and stuff like that.
You would put wheels in the washer?
Yeah, in the dishwasher. Not the dishwasher, the washing machine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it goes in a lingerie bag.
Wow. Well, I have a question.
Okay.
Oh. Right. Interesting.
All right.
I have a question.
You have a question?
I do. What do you do while you sort?
So,
and this is child friendly.
This is child friendly. So, what do we do to entertain ourselves through sorting?
Kimberly was going to answer first.
I can answer first.
Heck yeah.
So
I already said what I do. I sort.
So, occasionally I get lucky and I actually take sorting to work and sort.
That is to get paid.
To get
sort.
paid and sort. But then again, I also work with kids in Lego, so they just look at me like, oh, she's just playing with Lego like she always
working.
does at work. But I've also found that I really enjoy getting on the sort lug call and having some background noise going on in the background, and being a little bit social while I'm getting it done. And I guess the other thing is I will do in front of the TV, and I think a lot of us do, but I like to do more like small batches in front of the TV. Grabbing not the initial sort, but grabbing something like, here's all my tiles, and I'm going to sit here and sort my tiles. I've actually taken sorting to my knitting group and sat there and sorted. So it can be a social activity in small batches.
You know what I got out of that is that she called all y'all background noise. Just saying, that's what you said.
But I love the background noise.
For all the TV folks, Beyond the Brick puts out really long videos. Great for sorting with. So.
Oh.
I thought that was going a different direction. Great for sleeping too. No.
Normally when I'm sorting, or normally when I'm doing anything Lego related, really, I usually have to put something Lego related on. So often I'll go to Netflix and look into Ninjago, Dreams, stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Just realized I've been neglecting our online friends, so I'm going to hand the mic off for some comments here and grab that laptop.
So my last big, long, like days, weeks long sorting session, I was working my way through the All Sorted podcast, which is, if you haven't listened to it, it's pretty entertaining. It's basically two guys up in the environs of Vancouver talking about Lego. They do lots of topics. So they might do the history of it, or they did a visit to BrickCon and kind of like interviewed a bunch of people. And that's actually how I heard about BrickCon in the first place. So it's a little old. I think they stopped making it in, I want to say 2018 was the last episode that they made, but it's pretty good. It's about 72 episodes total.
Okay, I'm going to go back in time just a tiny bit, just for the good comments. The ones that, and by that I mean the ones that aren't repetitive, things that we've already mentioned. In addition to people talking about how it's air dry always, make sure you do that. Pull the fragile elements first is a good idea for your sort. And then moving on to what we're doing here right now, talking about what you do while you're sorting. Listen to audiobooks, listen to podcasts, TikToks. And then here's a question for you guys. Can someone explain sort lug?
Do I want to take it, or do I want to give it to Tom or somebody else? Who wants to? We're gonna give it to the brick
Jen.
chick over
Yeah,
here.
I'll tell you what, we'll have Jen answer that question.
Yes.
Okay, Sort Lug was born in the first virtual BrickCon during the height of the lockdowns and whatnot in the pandemic, when a lot of us couldn't see each other. I was feeling really negative about Lego and everything and everyone. But I felt really badly that we were so disconnected, we couldn't see each other. And I had a lot of sorting to do. I still do. This was 3 years ago, Sort Lug was born. So Sort Lug is social sorting, which we called Sortalize. So we have Sortalize sessions every Friday. We run from 5 o'clock in this time zone, so PDT, until 7 a.m. the next morning. So we like to capture as many people worldwide as we can. It does tend to be the same people over and over because we're really grown close. I'm absent much of the time, but that's going to change, I swear. But it's just a drop-in thing. It's free of charge. There's like no one is going to slam you if you don't make it. Drop in if you want. If you're here for 5 minutes, if your camera never goes on, no one's going to talk to you if you don't want to be talked to. Like it's just meant to be. Background noise is acceptable. I'm okay with that. Like just social sorting or building or drinking or any like it's not family friendly. I should mention it is not.
Yes, I agree that it's not necessarily always family friendly. The other thing I like about the sort log calls is that it is on Zoom and does have a visual element to it. And like the temple that I built, you want to know who got to see it first? Yeah, I shared it a week ago on the sort log call, like right before the call ended, and so it was really fun getting that initial feedback, and I was so excited because, hey, I finished a mock, and so you get a lot of that too. You get to hear what people are working on. You get to hear what people are doing. Being new to the Lego community, I found that it's really nice to actually hear what other lugs are doing, because if you're not part of like the Lego ambassador group, it's nice to know what the lugs in Texas are doing or the lugs in the Midwest are doing. And they might have some ideas for you and you might have some ideas for them, and it's all about really making this global community a more single community.
And one more comment about that. Question to Jen from Marade. Can you update the Discord link, please? I tried to join this week and couldn't get in. Oh. Okay, the answer from Jen is sorry. She can't get back into Discord either, but she will figure it out and she'll get back in at some point. Okay, next comment. Here we go.
So when I'm doing my sorting, I do classical music, and I tend to pick something that's a long piece, New World Symphony or Firebird Suite or something like that. So I have kind of a continuous theme going through the whole thing, and it's not, changing all the time. And that's my background noise is the classical music. And then one further comment on the washing. If you have the dryer that has the tray, you can sit in there like for drying your tennis shoes or whatever. I have been known to put a towel in there and put the washed Lego on and then just run it on the air dry. And that works pretty well.
Okay, and just
Do we have
we still have about 10 minutes, so we have maybe you guys probably have a lot more to talk about because I saw that book. There's a lot of writing in there. So let's maybe get to that. Have you guys do a little more talking? I do a little more sitting.
Okay, so we got some fun questions, and this might be just show of hands. Who knows what knolling is and who knows their sets? Anybody? There's 2 questions. Does someone want to tell us who knows what knolling is? Okay, I will rush down and get answer. Who had an answer for what is knolling? Marcia. Okay.
Hi, knolling is to separate your pieces by part and size, a lot like they look like in the back of your instruction booklet, so they're all organized. They don't necessarily have to be organized by color, but some purists do.
Okay, so this is basically doing what we do on the speed unbuild. In advance, we put all the parts by color and things. Who does that? Very good example. I know a few Instagrammers who do, but I just wanted to know who actually does that.
Kimberly asked me the question, and I just gave her this blank look of what, which could explain my entire sorting process, which I have these bins stacked of sort me.
Spelled it wrong.
Oh, okay. I spelled it wrong because that's my book.
Okay. Are there parts, and we'll do one more question. So, are there parts that don't get sorted ever in your collection? And Ali, do you want to answer that one real quick? Well, this will be our final question.
I don't do Star Wars, and so if it looks like it, I'm sorry, don't abandon me. So if it looks like a Star Wars, like a ship thing, it just goes into a bin and it just wallows. I'm sorry. I build houses. That's what I do. I build houses. If it looks like something that can be built into a house or incorporated into my houses, it goes into a house. If it looks like it's a spaceship, it goes into a bin and it goes into a deep corner. No, I like gray. But if it's in the shape of a front end of a spaceship,
Then it's a rock.
okay, I'll go reevaluate.
So, but I mean, I also agree exactly with Ali. Like, I don't build a lot of space. I don't build a lot of vehicles. I have a big bin that just says spaceship, and I leave it at that. But there's other pieces. Like I mentioned, I have a creature feature bin. I have a tire and car part bin.
I like creatures. I'll take your creatures.
Oh. I have a minifigure bin because my minifigures, I have kids and they don't respect the minifigures. So until I don't have kids in the house, it's just a giant jumble of minifigures. All right. Anybody want to? I'll do some running. Anyone want to share what doesn't get sorted?
I literally have what I call the weird part drawer. And it's usually a lot of one-off stuff that has come in, you buy a bulk of Lego and you're like, well, I might use this someday, but I don't know what it is. So, yeah, I have the weird part drawer.
All right.
And online, Elam says the parts that don't get sorted are the parts left over from Lego sets. I think what they mean by that is if they're just stealing a couple pieces out of a set, they take those pieces and use them in their mock and then just dump the rest in a container. And then when that container gets full, sort them all at once. So that's something I do too.
That's efficient.
So, yeah, I do the same thing.
In my opinion.
Anybody have any answers to what doesn't get sorted? Over here.
With my displays in my city being just the normal minifigures, anything that I get that's looks like it's Lego Friends, unfortunately, just gets put in a bin or set aside or put away in a dark place, unfortunately.
And I just realized I read Elam's comment wrong. It says the parts that don't get sorted are the parts left over from Lego sets, i.e. the little 1x1 pieces, etc. So I just dump them into a container since it's too much trouble to sort out 5 pieces at a time. Then when a container gets full, I'll sort them all at once. So yeah, that's a good comment there. I do have a question from online. Any tips on storage?
That's a whole other topic.
It sure is, isn't it?
We could be here another hour.
Yeah, that's like a different roundtable, I think. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I can grab her. Everett.
Run, Kimberly, run.
It's a race.
So some of the stuff I don't sort is like, because I do sort by color. If I have a lot of gray and I know Star Wars builders, I will actually reach out to the people who don't like Friends or colors, and I will say, I have 20 gallons of this one color.
Ooh.
Would you like to do a trade? I will take almost any color that isn't gray. I have done that before. I've also just offered to do trades based off of finding out what people like and what people don't like. So that's
a great
way
idea.
to not sort and get more things that you would sort.
Now I know what to do with my Star Wars.
Yeah, and this actually works because you'll have to get in touch with one of these people online, James here, who says what doesn't get sorted? Friends figs. We put them in a bin and give them away to kids who play with friends sets. So now
Exactly.
maybe James can get something for it.
Well, and I think, there's sometimes those pieces where you don't want to get started in a category. Like if you have a set that has 2 light yellow pieces, maybe you don't want the light yellow pieces because you don't want to have just 2 or 3 or like a handful of that color. The other thing is also like some of the older collections, you can find people who really appreciate that. I got a bulk bin. It was about 20% Fabuland, and I found Fabuland homes for it from people who love Fabuland and appreciate it. So it didn't get sorted. It got found a good home for
People
someone
will
who would actually
appreciate it.
love it. So that's a great tip.
Okay, you guys have any closing comments for us? We have a couple more minutes, but I don't think you guys talked enough, quite frankly.
What?
I appreciate everybody showing up and being here. It wasn't what I expected, but I really appreciate this, and it was really fun. And I learned things. So,
And that's the main thing too. Is we are each other's best resources, and so you could go out to anybody in this room or just about anybody with an AFOL badge. Don't go to my husband; he knows nothing. But
He's your support,
he's my spousal enabler. But you can go up to any AFOL and say, "Hey, can you tell me about your storage system?" And you'll hear at least 10 minutes of how they store their Lego and how that works for them. And so if you're in a position where you're still developing your storage system, and I think this is something that touches on storage a little bit more, and that, again, that's a whole other topic. But your storage systems are fluid. The collection grows. The level of sorting within a category or subcategory. Well, that's something we didn't necessarily talk about much. Is there's a level of sorting for everybody. Like if you have a smaller collection, it might make sense to put all your white plates together. But if you have a really large collection, it might make sense to have each part in its own bin. So it's really kind of where you are in your sorting and storage journeys. Any other closing comments? No?
Awesome. Great
All
job.
right.
Thanks, Kimberly. Thanks, Ali.
Thank you.